Welcome all of you to the site visit in Västerås. My name is Frida Öster and I'm a secretary at Europan Sweden. And I just want to start by saying that we are really happy that so many of you wanted to join this digital visit. And because of the situation with the pandemic, we had to organize this site visit a little bit different this year. And but in one way that's also good, because I think that gave the possibility for many people to join, and also from not only from Sweden but also from abroad. So everything that changes the situation also brings something good with it. But we have some changes for the plan for the day. We were hoping to do a site visit where we were going to have one person on site filming from the competition site. Unfortunately, she has gotten sick and cannot participate. So there will only be pictures and videos from the site, but we have very good material, so we think that this will be just as good. And of course, for those of you who have the possibility to visit the site, you are more than welcome to do so whenever is suitable for you, and if it works to travel in a safe way, of course. And I also want to inform you that we will be filming this session. So in case any of you have any objections, just let me know, and we will make sure that your names will not be visible, and so on. And we also want to ask all of you to mute yourself unless you want to ask a question or so. And then to have the best experience of the presentations, I recommend that you choose the speaker view in the view settings, so that you will get all the presentations in full screen. So with this, I want to hand over to Isabelle Lundqvist Eklund from Västerås Municipality, who will present yourself and also the rest of the team from Västerås.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Isabelle. I am a landscape architect working as an urban planner with the biggest city development project in Västerås, Mälarporten. I am the project leader for the new city plan for the area, and also the project leader for our participation in Europan. I pass to Jenny.
Thank you, Isabelle. So, Jenny Bergström. I work as an infrastructure strategist in the city of Västerås, and I'm very happy to be here today in this wonderful team. And I'm well, I will pass along to Charlotta.
Hello everyone, Charlotta is my name. I'm a landscape architect as well as Isabelle, and I'm working at the Västerås stad, and is working a lot with this project Mälarporten, and it's really exciting to be in this Europan competition as well. I pass to Marianne.
Hello, my name is Marianne Holgersson, and I'm also a landscape architect, and I'm working with Charlotta in the same department at the city of Västerås. We are both in the big project of Mälarporten and on this project, which I really look forward to see all your contributions and also to guide you today. And over to Carl.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Carl Arnö. I'm the head of urban planning department in Västerås, this city where we are in, but not all of you are in. It's pretty strange to present this city and the site when we don't know even where you are in Europe, but it's a really exciting situation. Even though I will start with to tell you a few things about the city of Västerås, and also why we are in Europan and why we're interested in this, and the rest of the crew will present the site further on later. So I suppose you have, we can begin with the location of the city Västerås. I suppose you all have Googled. If you don't know where Västerås is, you have Google Map. I don't have any pictures with me, but it's pretty easy to find. It's situated pretty close to Stockholm. Actually, it's only about 1 hour with the train. But it is very much a city of its own, I must say. It's not connected to Stockholm in that way. We have about 150,000 inhabitants. Västerås is a growing city. We plan to be, or according to our plans, we will be about 230,000 inhabitants about 2050. And that's a part of why we're in this competition. We have development plans in the city and outside the city and everywhere. Historically, Västerås have played an important role in Swedish history. It's situated close to the lake Mälaren. The lake and close to the lake, there were a lot of Vikings and such, and we have sites all around where they have been historically. The city is about 1,000 years ago. It's about 1,000 years old, I should say. And one of the important things about Västerås is the Swedish king Gustav Vasa during the 1500s. He was king by then, and he was the king that led the Swedish country through the Reformation of the church, and it was very famous of having that been in Västerås by that time. Another important thing with Västerås is about 1850. The ASEA company was grounded in Västerås. ASEA company is an electrification company that make things for electrification. And we used to say that ASEA, the company, and later on ABB grounded the electrification of the whole Europe. So it began here in Västerås, and we made things that could be so it would be possible to get street lights and so on in all the European cities. Västerås is still named sort of the energy capital of Sweden. It has always been a city of great ambitions, and also by city building and architecture. Among a lot of other things, we have a lot of high-class buildings, especially from the modernism era in the middle of the 60s in Västerås. As I say, the city's character was a lot of industrial city things in its soul, so to speak. But today it's in the middle of a transformation process from industrial city to something new with great belief of the future. I think a modern and creative high-tech university city is growing, and the exciting thing, one of the exciting things about Västerås is that it has both characters. It has both a character of the industrial city, but it has also the character of this high-tech new creative city at the same time. Why Europan? Why the Europan competition? You can ask. It could be important for you to know. We have this slogan or vision, you could say, that Västerås is the city without limits. And it should be read in many ways, the city without limits. It's in the cityscape, and it's without limits for people to walk around and to enjoy the city without borders. And that's an important thing for how we want to develop the city today. But also without limits between people, and without limits with high ambitions and high goals, and without limits for people in Västerås to develop. The sky is the limit, you used to say, but we don't even have the sky in Västerås. We have also always been a city with great openness for new ideas. There are a lot of engineers in Västerås that develop new ideas and robots and things for the future. And that is also one of the reasons why we want to look at Europan and the competition, and to have your ideas in how to transform and develop. We also need new ideas to come into our city development to develop the new and growing city. Some things to mention are how to grow with sustainable solutions. Is of course we're looking for that all the time, based on a very democratic Swedish way of planning, with a lot of involvement from people living in the city and so. And that's one of the themes that is interesting to study here in this site too. It's also interesting to study how physical form, in the meaning of architecture, can develop here, but also the fourth dimension, the development in time, the developing process. I think that is a very central part of our participation in this competition. We want to involve also inhabitants in a creative way and build up livability in this area during the build-up process. And we have been especially interested in temporary architecture, as you maybe have heard, and you will be more instructed in during this day. So temporary architecture as solutions, and how temporary can help us to develop the permanent, and how to use the tools from architecture to create solutions that can build up sustainability and attractiveness to our city. I think that could be an introduction to this afternoon. And if you have any questions, maybe you can. We have time for them later on. I think maybe it's time for. Is it Isabel in our schedule? So I leave the word to you, Isabel.
Thank you. Well, today we will guide you through the site, giving you an opportunity to visit Mälarporten through your screen at least. As Frida said in the beginning, the plan was to have our colleague Victoria on the field, showing you parts of the site live, but sometimes it doesn't go as planned. Therefore, we will show you a lot of pictures from the site, and also film made with a drone that hopefully will give you a feeling for the site. But first, we will make a short presentation of the competition task and some of the more important questions we hope you will answer in your proposal. We invite you to ask questions during the afternoon. You do not need to wait until the end to ask your question. Just raise your hand and Frida will see to that you can ask your question. So now I will share my screen and I will turn off my video because I will be looking at the other side and you don't need to see this. So. Nej. Ser ni?
Yes.
All right. Well, Carl has given us an introduction to Västerås. I will add on a few things. Västerås is the 6th biggest city in Sweden and is situated in the Stockholm-Mälaren region, which is very important for the country's development, both in a national and international meaning. When the region is expanding, we see a shortage of housing in the capital of Stockholm. That means that housing development in other municipalities is important. In this context, Västerås is a competitive alternative. We offer attractive housing in both urban and rural settings, as you can see in these pictures. The city of Västerås is one of Sweden's oldest cities, as Carl told us. The town plan originates from the Middle Ages, and there are still preserved quarters with historical character and values, as you can see on the top left picture. Industry has been and still are essential for Västerås, and the city is a prominent center for technical innovations, and we are proud to be the energy capital of Sweden. So Västerås is growing and there is a great need for more housing and places for enterprises to establish. One of the projects that will contribute to this a lot is Mälarporten. It is the largest and most complex project ever in the city development. It offers amazing possibilities to create an entirely new neighborhood that is both innovative and sustainable for the future. So why has this area been undeveloped? It is simply because it's really hard to do. Some of the planning conditions marked in this picture that makes it really complex is the sewage plant, a bus depot for city buses, a big silo, and also strong barriers like main roads and the railway. You can say that the city has developed around this area. That means that people need to pass through Mälarporten to get from the city center to the lake or to the new developments in the southeast. And now we need to link the parts of the city together, finishing the puzzle and making this area a natural part of the city. Where you want to spend your time. As you will see today, this is not quite the case. But the area has gone from natural meadowland to industrial site and a port. Today you see industries, businesses and parking, a lot of parking. Almost the entire area has a hard surface and the greenery is very poor. The roads are both broad and hard to cross. And there are really no places where you want to stay or hang out today. And this is showing clearly in the map on the left, which is from an ongoing dialogue where the people of Västerås can mark places that are either unsafe, hard to find, unattractive or boring. And this we hope to change with the help of Europan. And in the planning process, we are right in the middle of developing a new city plan for Mälarporten. The city plan is, however, not the task for Europan. This is a parallel process run by the municipality. But I want to point out that the vision and strategy for Mälarporten also needs to be addressed in the Europan competition. And our strategies are more than close. The necessities of everyday life are cared for in a simple and sustainable way, and is easy to get anywhere. A green city by Lake Mälaren. Greenery and water should be present at all time. There are places that inspire people to meet, that add life to the city, and also helps increase resilience for climate change. Come and join. Mälarporten offers environments that are created with care, which make them varied, rich in detail, and exciting, and smart for the future. Large technical systems meet and start in Mälarporten underground, enabling the running of the city, and here there is a potential to try new technical solutions. This, in short, is what we want Mälarporten to become. So how do we link our project to the theme of living cities and to Europan 16? Well, by focusing on the fourth dimension, which Carl mentioned, by focusing on time, from today until the completion of the area, and that is about 25 years. And that is a really long time, and we do not want the area to feel like a construction site for the extended period. 25 years is the childhood of a generation. We need the area to be attractive and alive during the entire process. We cannot wait for those values. We want to create Mälarporten of the future today. Sorry. We also want to put the focus on people. It is very important for us that putting the focus on people is very important for us, and that needs to be done from the very beginning. The development of the area will happen step by step over time, and Västerås wants to offer the possibility for people to enjoy this location as soon as possible. And it will not only be the people that gives the area life. Today there is no greenery, and the area consists of brown fields. In order for the city to become alive and sustainable, we need to convert these areas and introduce new greenery and biodiversity. My colleague Charlotta will tell you more about that in a minute. So with this ambition of focusing on the planning and construction period, we have created a unique competition task, which we hope you appreciate and want to contribute to. The task is about answering these questions. How can we create a living city throughout the planning and construction process? How can we establish values that are important to people early on and let them be a part of the transformation? This means that we are asking for temporary architecture that will be an important part of the area for up to 25 years. We also see a possibility to convert the temporary solutions to permanent parts of the new district. Therefore, we want to see flexible solutions that create attractiveness and activity. It is important that the solutions are connected and linked to a unifying theme that makes the area feel like a city district from the very beginning. And the proposals need to show a clear concept, a concept that builds on and develops the identity of the area. And your solutions can be both site-specific or flexible. They can be rebuildable so that they can be moved around. And it's important that they create character, excitement, and new dynamics. The winning proposal will also create the platform and context for many activities during the years ahead. This will be an arena where people can meet again after the pandemic, a place to discuss the development of the district. We have the following expectations on your competition proposals. We want to see temporary architecture and design that create life, activity, and identity. How you use the potential of existing buildings and sites and add natural green elements and water. The green solutions need to contribute to climate adaptation and reconnect the urban landscape. We want a concept that is flexible, that can be added to, moved around. The solutions needs to work as a platform for dialogue and contributes to the debate of what a sustainable city really is. The places need to be available to all and attract people from all over Västerås. And now Charlotta is going to tell us more about the greenery.
Yes, and as you heard, Isabel said that we want, by developing Mälarporten, Västerås to be a green city by the Lake Mälaren. And we want to improve biodiversity, ecosystem services, and the city to become resilient to climate change. And as you can see, the area of Mälarporten is today characterized by large-scale industry and a lot of impermeable surface with the green structure almost completely absent. Kan byta. However, close to the area there are green structures made up of broadleaf, deciduous trees and other vegetation important for stormwater management and biodiversity. And within this project, we therefore have great opportunity to transform this area and develop green structures that connect to green structure nearby to the rest of the city. And within this competition area, we have two existing green places. It's the Hamnparken and the area of disused dead-end tracks. And these places are identified as existing green structures with potential to become even more diverse and socially important places. And to begin with Hamnparken, du kan byta. Hamnparken is an existing public park situated between the silo and the travel center, and is about 4,000 square meters, about mainly consisting of young trees. You can byta. Here's you see some picture of the park, mainly consisting of young trees, some benches and green lawns. And this is a kind of newly developed park, but we see potential to develop it even more to a more diverse place. Kan byta. Kan byta igen. You see the place here, it's very close to the silo. And just you have to get an idea of how the place looks like. It's very close to the silo, so it's kind of characterized by it. And the area of disused dead-end tracks, du kan byta, is a 22,000 square meter large area made up of asphalt, gravel, and 5 to 10 about years old brushwood among disused tracks. And I have some pictures that you can see how it looks like at the ground. It's very close to the city. You see the ABB building in the background. And here we have some pictures of this area of disused dead-end tracks. You can change this brushwood. And the next picture. So this kind of brownfield area, we see a potential that we would like your help to see what can be made of this this area. These two places are interconnected by Kungsgatan, which is a large road that also offers opportunities for even more greenery. We can take next picture. You see, Kungsgatan is in between these places, and it's quite a next picture, please. You can see this is just by Hamnparken, and you can see the silo at the right, and this area of disused and dead tracks at the horizon in this picture. Here we have some space to develop in somehow. You see potential even here. Yes, and then we have an area. You can take the next picture. The quay by the silo is today completely the third dot. It's completely covered by asphalt. And here we also have a potential to connect this place. You can bit. Here you can see environment pictures. We have some pictures here. You see it's a lot asphalt, and it's possible to connect with this disused dead-end tracks as a path, green structure. Okay, and finally, the path between the travel center and the east part of the city is expected to be an important and attractive link for everyday passage in the future, for both, as I said, everyday passage, but also recreational purpose that we really need to develop. Kan byta. Here's the path. Yeah, we can bit. This path I was talking about from the travel center and to the east part of the city, here is an important link in the future. And what we would like you to think about is some questions that we can present here. And it's what could temporary vegetation mean to you? Temporary can be very short time. Temporary can also be a quite long time. And we have a 25 period of time here we are talking about in Mälarporten. And what we would like you to think about, what does that mean when we're talking about vegetation? And how can green infrastructure be designed and temporarily implemented in Mälarporten to meet the need of biodiversity and stormwater management and socially inclusive places? How can green infrastructure be improve biodiversity in this changeable landscape? And the last question we would like you to think about is how can implementation of temporary green structure contribute to be a socially inclusive and living city? It's big questions, but difficult questions, and we would like you to think about these questions to help us. Yes?
Thank you. Well, we want to talk about one other important question for us as well in the Europan competition, and that is dialogue and activating the area. Two questions that we already work within the project, and our goals with activating the area is making it more secure than today, to attract people to the area, place branding of the new district, create participation and pride, and test new ideas and engage in dialogue. All of this is connected to our participation in Europan. And now I will show you a short film that hopefully will give you a good overview of the entire area. So I'm gonna change my screen. And there is no sound in this movie, so you don't need to tell me that you can't hear it, because it's a quiet movie. So do you see my screen again? The PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Now that's Mälarporten from above. Now I will guide you from the ground. And I will show you 3 different routes. I will start with the pink one. We are focusing on the competition area, as you can see in yellow in this map. We will start with the pink one, as I said, in the parking lot of today's train station. Across the street to the north is the big city park, Vasaparken. Vasa was the old Swedish king. And to get from the park to the train station in this area, you need to go through a tunnel under the road, one of our many barriers. In this parking lot, we would like to add temporary architecture to make it safer and more pleasant to visit. Then we will pass through the station building and go over the tracks and down on the south side of the station and the back of the station. So let's see. Here we stand on the west corner of the parking lot. You can see that there are more parking than actual cars, although I have to point out that this picture is taken now during the pandemic. But the area is unwelcoming and do not feel secure walking alone here. On the other side of the road, you can see Vasaparken and the trees, and also the shower of City Hall, which normally is where we spend our days when not working from home. If we move closer to the train station, you can see that there are more cars in this area. And now we have arrived at the station building. There are 4 entrances, one on each side of the building, and the one on the left is the main entrance. If you want to take your bike to the other side, you need to bring it inside the station and take the elevator up to the bridge over the track, which you can see here. And if we walk over the tracks and down on the other side, this is the south entrance. And I can't even call it an entrance. It's a staircase and an elevator, quite narrow and not pleasant to walk up or down in. Here we have walked around the entrance and you can see the silo in the background. This is the south parking lot and you see a new hotel building, also with a preserved brick wall in front of it, in front of the new building. And as I said, I will show you a lot of parking lots today because that is a dominant part of the area. But I also want to give you a look into the future because the travel station you see here today is too small and not functional. So we are planning and building a new and improved transportation hub. And we are doing that in the same area as the one you can see today. And this will both increase public transport, but also bridge the barrier over the railway. As a result, the transportation hub is not only an infrastructural project, but also a city development project. Within Mälarporten, there will be a lot of new housing close to the transportation hub, giving us a good condition for a sustainable future. In this picture, you can see the proposal for the new hub developed by the Danish architects BIG, Bjarke Ingel Group. The concept is a floating roof and a landscape that lifts the city floor to reconnect the urban landscape over the tracks. And the words you can see down here in Swedish says one city, one roof, one landscape. And here you can see some views from the surroundings and from within the new hub. And here are some more pictures about the landscape. And as Charlotta said, also our new transportation hub will be part of the city's green infrastructure and add to biodiversity and handle stormwater and so on. And finally, the new solution for walking and cycling over the railway, a big improvement from today. You do not need to take your bike into the elevator. That was the last picture about the transportation hub and today's train station. If you have any questions about this particular part of the area, you are more than welcome to raise your hand.
We have one question in the chat here. As Maria is asking if the site visit video will be available to watch later. And I'm not sure if you mean the video of the presentation or if you mean this video that Isabel was presenting, but maybe that one can also be made public, Isabel?
Absolutely. There is a link to the YouTube film, which we can share with you all.
Yeah, great. And also we are recording this session and we will post it afterwards so you can watch everything again.
Great. Well, let's continue on then to the purple route. And I will first give you some information about this. Mälarporten is, or rather should be, a part of the Mälaren promenade. A promenade connecting the west and east side of the city together by the shoreline. You see the dotted line in the map to the left. And today, the part that leads through Mälarporten is unfinished due to land ownership. As you can see in the map on the right, we hope to connect the promenade and add the black passes as well, because that is the shortest route. Let's see then. We begin in Hamnparken, or the Harbor Park, which Charlotta has told us about. And we are walking towards the silo. Here you can see the end of the park. And when you have left the park, you're on to, well, asphalt and gravel once again. And passing by the shoreline, by the silo, you can walk here. It's open for the public, but you feel like you're not supposed to be there. So that's something we want to change, because this is the main passage. This is from the silo dock, looking over the new development. And here we have passed the silo and are looking back towards the train station. And another picture from the same spot. And now we have turned around, we have crossed a road, and we have the sewage plant on the left and the marina with a lot of boats on the right. And now we are walking. This was the part in the film where I don't know if it was a drone or somebody filming by bike. This is the same area. And we are walking towards the new development of Östermälarstrand and the Steam Hotel, which you can see in the background. Behind the ugly tower, there is a brick building. Here you can see it. We have moved along a little bit in this picture. And now we can see the Steam Hotel. and the action bath with the coolest name ever, the boiling point. Let's see, I lost my. Yeah, I'm gonna change the picture. And here we are arriving at Steam Hotel and passing out of Mälarporten and into Östermälarstrand. And I want to say something about this because this has become a really important place in the city, both for the inhabitants of Västerås, but also for tourists. The hotel and the bath are rather special because it is built within this former heating plant, therefore the names Steam and Boiling Point. And I really hope that you select Västerås for Europan, or at least that you will be able to visit us and stay at the Steam Hotel, because they have in a really nice way built onto the industrial inheritance and made a amazing hotel, which I can really recommend. This is one of the rooms. And of course, we want to contribute to this in Mälarporten, to build on to the history of the site and make it a new and dynamic district. And the last route that I'm going to show you is the orange one. But first I want to explain the yellow border in the north. Here we are planning for a third passage under or over the railway. A passage for at least pedestrians and cycling, and maybe even for buses. But that is in the future, but it's good for you to know that the area that Charlotta told us about with the tracks, there we will also be able to build a third passage, overcoming the barrier of the railway. But this is an important information as well. These areas I will show you now are right in the center of the new district, and it's also land that we own in the city. That means that your proposals can be implemented easily in this location. All dark blue in this picture, we, the city, own. And soon we will also add and own the red marked area, the railway, the old tracks. So that's really, really good for us, both in a short and long period. And it's in this location, I will show you exactly where in a minute, we will also build a temporary travel station between the years 2023 and 2025. And that means that this area in front of the existing building will be a node in only 2 years' time. And here you can see the large area that we now own. And in the back, you can see the demolishing of a concrete industry. And that demolishing is finished now, but this picture was taken last December. And now we are standing on the gravel area and the demolishing is finished. We are looking north towards the city center. This is the same spot, but looking back onto the silo. Now we have passed over the street, Kungsängsgatan, and in front of us is the area with the old tracks and also platforms. And we are looking towards the train station. And now we are walking towards the train station. And as you can see, another parking lot. This is the same spot, but from another view. And continuing west, we now see the building that will be the temporary train station during the construction of the new transportation hub. The building will be connected to the other side and to the platforms via a bridge. And this will be an intense part of the area during the years with the temporary train station. So adding temporary architecture in this site will very much improve the feeling of the area. And here is a view from above showing the entire building for the temporary train station and parking lot in front, and in the horizon today's train station. That was my last picture.
We have another question here from Martina, who is asking if the ground has been decontaminated.
On the graveled area? No, it has not. Not to the extent that it's ready to build on, but it's we have prepared for electricity and made it okay to build temporary things on. Do we have another question?
Those were all the questions in the chat, but you're also welcome to ask your questions if you have more questions.
No? Well, then I would like to say thank you for joining us today, and we really hope that we can welcome you in person and for real in Västerås in the future. But until then, you have to take care.
Oh, we have another question here.
Yeah, sure.
So from Daniel, he is asking if, thank you for the presentation. I would like to know if the silos and the port are still used.
Yes, there are. The port is for the silo, so I don't know how often, but not often a big boat docks by the silo. But it is still in use, but our goal is that the silo is going to be relocated, and that area will be transformed with housing and other more attractive things.
We have a question from Richard, who is asking, do you have drawings, more information on the buildings which will be the temporary travel center?
Yes, we do. They are right now being developed, but there is more details on the temporary train station. Absolutely. I don't know if we can add it to the site.
Yeah, if
to the web.
Yeah, if you it would be great if you register for the competition and you register for the site in Västerås, and then you can give a request through the official question and answer section, and you can add a request to have these drawings, and then we can upload them as additional material for you to take part of.
Absolutely. Was that all the questions?
I think so. You should really take the opportunity now that you have the chance to speak directly to the site representatives. We have another question here from Martha. Thank you for a great presentation. Since a lot of the site is used for parking, I was wondering how much parking space you would like to keep.
Well, we are talking about developing mobility hubs instead, to gather all the parking and build it in. So we don't want ground parking anymore. So I don't think you need to worry about that in this task for Europan, because this is about temporary solutions and the time from now until the completion. So don't let that be a concern.
Do we have any last questions? You also have the possibility to, if you, I mean, after this, you think of something you want to have clarified, there's also the possibility to ask questions. Now I don't know the exact dates, but it's all there on the Europan Europe website. So somewhere in the middle of June is the deadline for asking questions.
Then you wrap it up, Frida.
Great. So thank you so much, Isabel, for this wonderful presentation, and also to Charlotta and to Carl. And thank you all of you for joining, and I hope you feel very inspired to participate now in this really interesting site in Västerås. So I want to wish you the best of luck, and I hope to see you in the prize ceremony by the end of the year.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.